You're listening to AFR's Nothing But Truth. Ben Johnson in for Crane Durham. So glad that you're listening right here on AFR Talk. As we were saying at the top of the hour, many of you know and have followed this for years. The Obama administration, whenever it needs a demon, it goes straight to central casting and finds just a middle-class Christian of some sort. And that's the prototype for evil everywhere. If homosexuals are being bullied, it's because of Christians. If there's a domestic terrorist threat, well, it's certainly not because of members of any other religion. It's because of Christians. And so we've seen this attempt to demonize American Christians and say that they are the most dangerous threat facing us in the United States today. And in fact, it looks as though there's a program afoot to try and gather intelligence on the pro-life movement to find out who's connected to whom and what churches are involved. We're going to speak in just a few moments with someone who is questioned by the FBI and find out exactly what kinds of questions they're asking and what kind of threats they are making. But coming up first, we're talking right now with Dana Cody, who's from the Life Legal Defense Foundation, does outstanding pro-life work on behalf of the pro-life movement, and a wonderful legal analyst as well, an outstanding mind, and she's been following this for many years. Dana, welcome to Nothing But Truth.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and thanks for the compliments.
Well, you earn them all.
Now.
Well, you earn them all, and when our listeners are done, I think they'll agree that you certainly have earned those accolades. So what we're talking about, of course, is this attempt by the federal government to attempt to paint all pro-lifers as terrorists. I was saying in the last segment, this goes back to the Clinton era with their VAPCON program, their violence against abortion providers conspiracy. That there was a vast conspiracy by the pro-life movement to try and kill abortionists, blow up abortion clinics, and so on. And then they've released one DHS document after another, and then there have been a series of prosecutions as well. Now, you know this territory better than anyone. How is it that the Obama administration is pushing this line that pro-life Christians are the focus of evil in the modern world?
Well, that's a really interesting question. We're involved in a case right now, David Hamilton's case. The attorneys are Vince Hauser and another gentleman that works with him. I know that ADF and Liberty Counsel have also handled these cases, and what we're finding each time is that the charges are unsubstantiated. And I think that the Obama administration, particularly Eric Holder, is going after pro-life individuals because, after all, didn't the abortion industry help get Obama elected? And they simply don't like our viewpoints. And so this is, I was talking to Jill Stanek, whose son-in-law was questioned by the FBI, thinking, this is like the SS showing up on your door, wanting to know why you believe what you believe and who has influenced you and what church you go to, and we noticed that you were online looking at certain things, and it's absolutely astounding.
It's pretty chilling that they're following online behavior in the first place. If it's nonviolent people looking at just average traditional websites and things of this sort, it would be somewhat different if they were looking at things that would incite one to violence or instructions on how to build a bomb or something like this, but that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about just people who are pro-lifers going to pro-life websites, talking with other people who are pro-life about nonviolent, peaceful First Amendment expressions.
Right.
It's exasperating.
You're certainly not going to get the truth from the secular media. They just figure abortion's a decided issue. We're not going to talk about it. And so, we've resorted to the Internet and shows like Rush Limbaugh, he gets the truth out. Shows like your own, social networking. And because they don't like the viewpoint, they're after us. I think that this, and in light of what's going on with Obamacare, is just, it's threatening the very structure of our nation, and people need to wake up. This is sort of off the subject, but I had somebody post on Facebook an ad for Obama that was undermining Romney, saying, he outsourced to other countries. And I'm thinking, you're putting this on Facebook and wanting people to watch it. You want them to be aware of Romney outsourcing, which I understand is not true. But I mean, how can we believe anything that comes from this administration, the administration that said we won't raise taxes? And here we have an Obamacare decision characterizing it as a tax. I mean, the administration is dishonest, and they're going after people who are exposing them.
That's a very good point. I mean, it really is at a certain level. And Crane, who's the usual the talk show host here today, I'm guest hosting for him because, even Crane doesn't have great judgment sometimes. He's said many times our president acts like a community organizer instead of a president. So it's about putting your coalition together and attacking the other coalition. And we all know pro-lifers are not part of Obama's coalition. On the other hand, Planned Parenthood has a million plus change in negative attack ads against Mitt Romney.
Right. I mean, and who cares about the truth? Well, I'll tell you one thing. Our staff attorney, Allison Aranda, she's handling this. She's advising, and I'm telling you, since she's been on staff, we have not lost a case. Admittedly, not a face case. Those are still in progress. But
and so people understand freedom of access to clinic entrances, where you have to keep a certain perimeter around the abortion clinic. Correct. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, she's an experienced, brilliant attorney, and they couldn't have better advice. And for anybody that's listening that thinks, hey, I could be the next one, FBI knocking on my door, I go out to the clinics. My advice is videotape, because they cannot turn it into a he said, she said, and make up accusations, which is clearly what's happened in all these face cases, walk away with egg on their face. If you videotape, simply, pictures speak louder than words, and they can't characterize you in a way that somebody is claiming that you acted. They claim you trespassed. They claim you were too loud. If you videotape, it dispels all that.
Well, you're right. I mean, it's very important to keep a record. I think maybe what you need to do, if you're going to go to any demonstration, any rally, anything where you're holding a sign, anywhere where someone next to you might be holding a sign, just ask yourself, would Eric Holder approve of this? If not, get out the cell phone and videotape it from beginning to end. And on that cell phone, put Dana Cody and Life Legal Defense Foundation on speed dial just in case. Because, as you said, they have not lost a case. But we see this administration just cracking down on everyone who does not share their views. And there appears to be, according to even a federal judge, there is a sort of a terrorizing effect going on, a sort of a chilling effect at any rate, of those who are making a chilling effect against pro-lifers. Speaking of which, I know that you're familiar with the Mary Susan Pine case in Florida. And this was a face case where a pro-lifer who had a woman who had an abortion regretted it, went back to the clinic where she had the abortion, and every year on the anniversary of the abortion, she was there, trying to get other women not to make the same mistake. She would tell them about her heartbreak. She would tell them, this will be the worst mistake you've ever made in your life. Please don't go in. She was accused of violating the face statute by blocking a clinic entrance when someone stopped and asked for a pamphlet she was handing out, and she walked over and gave it to them. But what was interesting in that, there was a federal judge, Judge Kenneth Reiskamp, who said he thought that there was some collusion going on between abortion clinics and the Justice Department. Now, what can you tell us about that? Do you believe that there is this collusion, and if so, how does it work?
Well, this is what I think. And I first of all want to mention that the Pine case was Liberty Counsel's case, and they did a phenomenal job, and we were able to communicate with them to help with the case that we're working on in Kentucky. But with that said, what we noticed, a year or so ago, a little over a year, is that there was a clinic violence training in Eugene, Oregon. The manual was written by the National Abortion Federation and Planned Parenthood, 90-page document. And they're training, they being the FBI, representatives from pro-abortion organizations, and the local police were training people, the law enforcement, on clinic violence. So what this means is that the FBI and people that are working with them in collusion with the abortion industry, are going to local police departments and training them. And when we inquired about this, we called, we sent a letter. We basically were told, contact the media department, which is a joke. And then they eventually answered our letter, giving us no answers. And I finally contacted my congressman who inquired, and they basically said, we're not having any more trainings in 2012. Well, maybe they're not having trainings with local law enforcement, but we see now they're sending out FBI agents. Forget about local law enforcement. We'll just send them right out to the pro-life advocate's home.
Yeah, directly from the federal government to your doorstep. It seems as though the abortionists find someone who irritate them, they report them to the feds, and the feds come and show up at your door and ask you what's going on, where are your papers, tell us what's going on. We've got about 30 seconds. Can you tell us a little bit more about LLDF or your current cases?
Sure. Basically, we defend the civil rights of pro-life activists, advocates, people who are law-abiding citizens that want to see our culture return to a time when we respect human life. And if anybody needs help, needs advice, they're welcome to give us a call. Go to our website. Look for us on Facebook. Our website is lldf.org. And that's what we do. We do it with our own staff attorneys, and we also have a network of attorneys in about 38 different states. So if you need help with your free speech rights, give us a call.
They are the ones to call. Dana, Cody, thank you so much for your assistance and your expertise on this. LLDF.org is the website. Coming up in just a moment, we're going to be talking to someone who was questioned by the FBI and, according to some accounts, may have been threatened with deportation because he's pro-life. You're going to want to hear this right here on AFR Talk. Nothing but truth.